Hello, Yankees Nation. Welcome back to your go-to source for all things pinstripe, the Bronx Bombers Daily. Today's episode opens with a heartfelt salute to a baseball icon whose impact never recognized team colors, but rather celebrated excellence at the highest level. Earlier this morning, the baseball world was shaken by the news that Ryne Sandberg, the legendary second baseman whose name became synonymous with consistency, defense, and clutch hitting, has passed away at the age of 65 after a courageous battle with metastatic prostate cancer. Many of us first heard his name in the mid-80s, but his legend grew through the decades, transcending rivalries and uniting fans under the banner of pure, unadulterated love for our national pastime. It's hard to overstate the imprint Sandberg left on the game. Over 16 seasons in Major League Baseball, 15 of those donning the blue pinstripes of the Chicago Cubs. He compiled a remarkable 285 batting average, launched 280 home runs, and drove in over 1,000 runs, but numbers alone don't capture the full measure of his greatness. Beyond the 7 Silver Slugger awards that honored his offensive prowess and the 9 Gold Gloves that underscored his defensive mastery, Ryne etched his name forever into baseball lore with that unforgettable performance in 1984. In what fans now simply call the Sandberg game, he blasted game-tying homers in both the 9th and the 10th innings against St. Louis, reminding the entire sporting world that, on any given night, magic could unfold at the ballpark. For U.S. as Yankees faithful, Sandberg's passing is a poignant reminder that baseball's true heritage lies in these shared moments of brilliance. Even though he never wore the interlocking NY on his cap, his standards set the bar for every infielder who followed. When we watch our own prospects, like Jazz Chisholm Jr., patrol the middle infield or marvel at the arm strength of Oswaldo Cabrera, we're witnessing the legacy of players like Sandberg. These young athletes learn that excellence isn't just about flashy highlights, but about unwavering preparation, relentless focus, and the humility to let your work speak louder than any stat line. It's also an occasion to reflect on how a career can evolve beyond the playing field. After his initial retirement, Sandberg answered the call of baseball once more, returning to the Cubs in the mid-90s and showing that passion never truly fades with age. Later, as a coach and team ambassador, he carried the torch of mentorship, guiding a new generation with the same quiet confidence that characterized his playing days. His statue outside Wrigley Field stands not merely as a tribute to his numbers, but as an everlasting emblem of character and perseverance. When we walk past Monument Park at Yankee Stadium, we see similar tributes to our heroes, reminders that greatness is measured not just in victories, but in the lives we touch and the standards we set. Yankee fans know that our own legends Ruth, Gehrig, Mantle, Jeter, and Judge owe part of their mythology to the trail blazed by players like Sandberg. Think about Aaron Judge and the electrifying presence he brings to every game. It isn't a stretch to imagine, decades from now, young fans gathering around Judge's likeness, telling stories of towering home runs and awe-inspiring defense, just as we do today about Sandberg's clutch performances. It's a cycle as everlasting as the crack of the bat, and while we grieve today, we celebrate the certainty that Sandberg's influence will endure through the generations. Before we turn our attention to the Bronx, let's pause for a moment to extend our deepest sympathies to Ryne Sandberg's family, to the Cubs organization, and to fans everywhere who were touched by his career. Though he wore a different uniform, his spirit was woven into the very fabric of baseball, a sport that binds us all. From the shores of Chicago to the bleachers in the Bronx, his legacy reminds us that every game is bigger than any one team, and that, in honoring his memory, we honor the timeless virtues of the game we cherish. As the calendar inches closer to the final call of the trade deadline, a palpable tension has settled over Yankee Stadium, as if the very air could crackle with anticipation. In recent weeks, whispers in the clubhouse and murmurs in front offices around the league have coalesced into something almost unthinkable. The Bronx Bombers, perennial buyers accustomed to bolstering their ranks with marquee talent, briefly entertained the notion of shifting gears entirely and selling off key pieces. The catalyst for this seismic contemplation was none other than Aaron Judge, the reigning American League most valuable player, and the very embodiment of New York's offensive might. When Judge landed on the 10-day injured list with a flexor strain in his right elbow, the team suddenly confronted a stark reality. No longer could they count on that thunderous presence in the heart of the lineup, the man whose very rival at the plate elicited collective gasps and cheers. Instead, the Bombers faced a lineup that looked unsteady, as though someone had yanked the foundation from under them. It only took one 4-2 loss to the Tampa Bay Rays, punctuated by a paltry half-dozen singles and 2 walks, to crystallize the void left by Judge's absence. The offense felt like a ship adrift without its compass, mechanical and hesitant, searching for the spark that could ignite a rally. With each quiet inning, conversations intensified in front office corridors. If this was the trajectory without Judge, what would life look like without him for the remainder of the season? What assets could be acquired in return for veterans whose performances were reliable but no longer transcendent? Within hours, the Yankees brass had sketched out a contingency plan so radical it sent ripples through baseball circles. Should Judge's elbow prove irremediable, the team would pivot from acquisition mode to full-scale seller, offloading established names to restock their farm system and prepare for a rebound run in 2026. Those discussions moved at warp speed, scrutinizing every player with an eye toward rentability. Cody Bellinger, whose lefty power had been something of a safety valve, found himself in the crosshairs of teams seeking a low-risk, high-upside bat. Closer, Devin Williams, celebrated for his filthy sweeper but sometimes prone to wildness, attracted suitors in search of bullpen depth. Even the recent acquisitions of third baseman Ryan McMahon and infielder Amed Rosario, brought in to fortify the infield mix, were weighed against their potential return. It was a scenario as dramatic as any playoff series, a testament to the mercurial nature of modern baseball, where a single injury can reshape the contours, not just of a season but of an entire franchise's direction. Yet amid the whirlwind of hypotheticals, reason began to reassert itself. Judge's initial prognosis promised a relatively swift rebound, allowing him to return after the deadline as a designated hitter. Should his elbow respond favorably to rest and therapy, the possibility of surgery, while not entirely off the table, seemed remote enough that the notion of dismantling the roster felt premature. Slowly, the narrative shifted. Instead of jettisoning veterans, the Yankees refocused on incremental upgrades, targeting a left-handed reliever to counter southpaw lineups and eyeing at least one additional starter. To ease the heavy burden on the rotation, the front office revisited past pursuits, recalling the near-miss chase for Eugenio Suarez, which fell apart when the Diamondbacks demanded to high a price a proven big-league arm, a top prospect, and a secondary prospect with upside. In the end, New York pivoted to the McMahon-Rosario deal, sacrificing prospects Clayton Beeter, Brown Martinez, Griffin Herring, and Josh Geyer in exchange for cost-controlled talent that seemed a better fit at the time. That measured, cost-conscious approach now defines the Yankees' strategy. They will not leap into a blockbuster that threatens their competitive balance tax threshold. Yet they remain determined to bolster the roster in ways that preserve depth and flexibility. With ace Garrett Cole expected back in the rotation next year and Luis Gil on the mend, the pitching staff already has reason for optimism. Meanwhile, burgeoning stars like Ben Rice and Yason Dominguez have begun to demonstrate the poise and power that make them legitimate building blocks for the future. So rather than mortgage the farm in a win-now frenzy, the Yankees appear intent on a hybrid approach, adding affordable veterans who can contribute immediately while maintaining control over the organization's top prospects. There is a certain poetry in this balancing act. New York's history is filled with examples of bold, headline-grabbing trades, but it is also rooted in shrewd, quietly effective moves that laid the foundation for sustained success. Think back to the days when the Bombers acquired someone like Tino Martinez for pennies on the dollar, or when they unearthed Derek Jeter in the later rounds of the draft. These moments defined an ethos of careful risk management alongside ambition. Today's front office, led by a general manager whose name carries both respect and scrutiny, seems to embrace that same duality, push forward aggressively enough to contend, but prudently enough to endure. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. There's a growing buzz in the baseball world surrounding Cody Bellinger and his surprising tenure with the New York Yankees. Sources close to the player suggest that the once promising move to the Bronx might not be living up to expectations, and whispers are spreading that Bellinger himself may be regretting the decision to join the iconic franchise. When Bellinger was signed, many saw it as a bold acquisition by the Yankees, a team always looking to bolster its lineup with star power. Coming off strong seasons with his previous club, Bellinger's talent seemed a perfect fit for the pressure-packed environment of New York. However, Insiders now hint at a less glamorous reality behind the scenes. Reports indicate that Bellinger is facing challenges adapting both on and off the field, and the weight of expectations might be taking a toll on his confidence and performance. While it's common for players to experience ups and downs, the chatter around Bellinger has taken a more serious tone lately. Friends close to him say the outfielder has expressed doubts about whether the move was the right step in his career. The intense media scrutiny, coupled with the fierce competition for playing time in the Yankees' crowded roster, may have left him second-guessing his decision. Some even speculate that Bellinger might be quietly seeking a way out, hoping for a trade or a return to a less demanding environment where he can regain his rhythm. Adding fuel to the rumors are subtle signs on social media and in interviews, where Bellinger's usual enthusiasm seems somewhat muted compared to past seasons. While the Yankees' front office remains tight-lipped, sources suggest that there's awareness within the organization about the player's current mindset. If these murmurs hold any truth, the team might soon face tough decisions about how to handle a player who was once viewed as a key piece of their future, but now seems uncertain about his place. Of course, nothing is confirmed yet. Bellinger could very well turn things around and prove the doubters wrong, rediscovering the spark that made him such a coveted talent. Still, for now, the whispers around the Bronx tell a story of a star player caught in a crossroads, one where the bright lights of New York may not be shining as warmly as he hoped. Baseball fans and analysts alike will be watching closely to see how this chapter unfolds, as the saga of Cody Bellinger and the Yankees adds another layer of intrigue to an already thrilling season. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.